Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Every week I tell you Parkside Cabin Rentals is the best deal in the Smokies. Well, you don't have to take it from me. TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor users awarded them with their Traveler's Choice Award for 2023. Great, and that means nothing's changed for 2024, obviously. Great cabins, great locations, and great prices. You can't beat ParksideCabinRentals.com. So plan your Smokies stay right there today. Just wait till after the show. But then you can get online and do it right there. Parkside Cabin Rentals. Okay, told you last week that the Volunteers were pursuing 3 top transfer targets. They already landed one of them. Let's go ahead and show you, in case you haven't looked this up already. Darlington Dubar started at Iowa State for 1 year, then transferred to Hofstra, who played 3 seasons there. He'll be coming to Knoxville from Hofstra. You see his numbers last year, 34 minutes a game. 53%, 54% from the floor, 40% from three-point range. I'm talking about a 6'8" guard here. 7 rebounds a game, 17.5 points. I don't think anybody should put him in the Dalton Connect zone, but at the same time, a good get for Tennessee. They are still in the hunt for Igor Milicic. He played 1 season at Virginia, then transferred to Charlotte for 2 years. That's where he would be coming from. He is looking at Tennessee, Nebraska, and Baylor, 6'10" forward. You see his numbers last year, 32 minutes a game, 48% from the field, 38% for a big man from 3 points, 8.5 rebounds, 13 points a game. And Tennessee still after Cade Tyson, though I think most people believe he's going to wind up at North Carolina. He's a North Carolina native. I know he visited here and was impressed, but I think most people still think he's probably going to wind up at Chapel Hill. Dubar, Milicic. The thing that's interesting to me is Barnes just keeps humming along, and we got some comments that we'll show you in the next segment in talking about some guys that are leaving. He just kind of lets it roll off him. I look at a lot of coaches who have been bothered by this and left the game. So that's it. I'm out. Nick Saban. That's part of the reason I'm out. Rick Barnes is 69 years old, and I always throw him and Tom Izzo, who's also 69, in this same batch together. Because these are 2 guys who have had great success. They're at an age where you would think, I'm an old dog, I don't want to learn new tricks. And yet, he just loses a couple guys. All right, I'll go get a couple guys. Are you surprised that Rick Barnes has adjusted so well to portal life?
A little bit, because I think if you gave him some truth serum, he would say he's not a huge fan of it. But he realizes it's here and it's here to stay. So I think he's done a nice job in dealing with it. I think that he has also had his assistant coaches working with him in terms of identifying players that they think would be good fits. He also makes sure that the players on his team are agreeable to the transfers coming in. That's another part of that. But I think he's done a really good job adjusting to this. And without Dalton Connect, who knows what they would have been last year. And now he's bringing in some players. If he can get one more of these players, or maybe, and there's an Ohio State guard that's out there too, if they can get 1 or 2 more of those, and if they can come in and just give them 12 to 14 points a game, I know it sounds like a lot, but that would really be a huge boost to this team if they can do that. But I think he's done a wonderful job adjusting and accepting the transfer portal.
This isn't what you were getting at, I don't think, but you made a comment there that somebody made to me in a negative way earlier this week, and that is, what would they have been without Dalton Connect? Somebody threw that to me as well. He's having to survive with that. It's like, I told that guy, what program isn't having to survive like that right now?
Exactly.
They're all doing that. So that's not like, well, if you didn't get Dalton Connect, all right, let me name the team. If Nate Oates doesn't get a whole new team, what do they do? So, I mean, that's just part of it. I've heard people, this is interesting, I don't know if it got on a message board, maybe a Facebook group, maybe somebody tweeted it, but for the last 2 weeks, I was in Middlesboro, Kentucky recently, and somebody was like, so, Rick Barnes, retiring, huh? No, I don't think so. And then somebody called me this week, somebody who's worked for years in the media, gave me a call and said, not in sports, but called from, he's worked in the media, called and said, what are you hearing? I keep hearing that Barnes is going to retire. What's the word? It's like, I really don't think he would leave them in the lurch like this. I think if Rick Barnes retires, you'll know about it as soon as the season ends, maybe before. I don't think he's going to do a retirement tour at some point either, so I think it would be clean break at the end. I certainly don't think when he's bringing in players right now that he's looking at retiring. So I'm a little surprised this keeps floating around. That said, you just added another kid for big man from Alabama. You beat Mississippi State for him yesterday, Dwayne Brown, for the class of 2025. He's showing no signs of slowing down. He's adjusted to the portal. Are you guys surprised at all that at 69, it doesn't seem to be any kind of let up at all? I'm a little surprised by that. Anybody?
I'm a little surprised because I just think you look at some of the more established coaches. I'm just sitting here thinking like Jay Wright. I'm thinking about some others who said, I'm tired of dealing with this.
Krzyzewski, Williams.
The list goes on and on. Just like Nick Saban, you add the portal, you add the NIL, and they've already got demands on their time. So, yeah, I think you have to be a little surprised.
And I guess I would also use the word impressed. I don't know if I were in that position. If I had his money, I might have just said, I'm going to an island. Bye. I don't know that I'd want
I'm going to buy an island.
Yeah, surprised or no?
Well, I'm really impressed by the attitude he presents. I'm sure behind the scenes there are mixed feelings. I think everybody has mixed feelings at least toward it. So everything that Rick Barnes has presented, I think part of that is probably aided by the staff that he has in place, people behind the scenes who help. I think the culture staying the way that he wants it, despite some of the transitions. So guys come out, but he had Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovi who helped. Now Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack.
Right.
I think that probably helps Rick Barnes keep the program intact with where he wants, despite moving pieces that are coming in and out. So I've been overall really impressed by the adjustment that he's made, because if survival is the right way, that is what everybody's having to do. It is an annual conversation of what is your roster from one year to the next because of the free agency that exists for the players.
Yeah, I think just because he doesn't maybe like it or think it's what's best for the sport doesn't mean that he can't still prosper at it and deal with it. And sometimes coaches look at things as a challenge.
Yeah.
And he's got a great staff that does a lot of the legwork, and he comes in there and gives his opinion and closes. You know who else, and Jimmy, you mentioned it a little bit, was he wants to bring in players that the players would like and would fit in with them. The players were talking about that this week about hosting. When a guy comes in there, they said they know within minutes whether they're going to be a fit in their culture, in their locker room.
And Meshack's one of those key guys, right? Either talking to him, playing like with Connect, one-on-one, games on the side.
Yeah, he said they will joke hard with those guys, because if they can't handle what they get from us, they can't handle the coaching from Rick Barnes. So that's kind of another level of the game to kind of help Rick Barnes out.
There is a YouTube video out there. I think it's Run Your Race. It's a podcast, and they recently did an interview within the last year with Grant Williams, talking about what it's like to. He's talking about a lot of things, but he talks about being at Tennessee and what it's like to play for Rick Barnes. Let's just say we couldn't run it here. Without a lot of editing, but it may be worth a search on YouTube to find that, because he makes it clear that it is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. So, all right. When we come back, let's continue this basketball talk and talk about the guys who are leaving. Adu obviously caught Barnes off guard, so I don't think the door is open for a return there. It is open for Tobe Awaka, apparently. Should Tennessee make him a priority? He's here. You know what you've got. You see the talent. Should they be making it a priority to get him back? We'll discuss that next. Come on back.